Good morning or good evening, and welcome to the second part of Origami Samus here. So we're gonna start off now with, of course, the collapsing proportions. If you haven't gotten to the crease pattern yet, then part one is available on my channel. So we'll start off with some box plane techniques. Now, as I said before, this model does use a combination of box plating and some bird-based system techniques. So, and for the most part, it's not like the most hardest thing, although I will say the hardest part will come from doing the shoulder parts on Samus, which honestly is a part where I kind of messed around a lot, where I don't really get it too properly. But what we're dealing with the base here is that we're obviously first want to get the pleats in, like, again, have those out of the way, and then right now what we're gonna do next is to try and collapse the middle part here, because how collapsing a crease pattern works is when you basically when you take like a middle point, and that point is like what branches out to all the other flaps in the design. Basically that's what I'm trying to go with here, and it always seems to work every time. So we'll start off by doing something basic like that, and then we're gonna fold this up, and then we'll push it in like this. And I guess I'll mention, I mean I kind of want to just like not worry too much to show you how to fold it, because I guess for the most part, like, I guess I would understand the idea where a lot of you guys will just watch this visually rather than like commentary here, but I guess I'll just talk about how I folded the design in general while this is going, unless there's a part I really want to point out or just to note of what's happening, or especially with choices I might have made just to like maybe make the design a little bit different, just to make it better than the one I visually showed from like that I did on the showcase. So yeah, so folding this Origami Samus, so folding Samus started like on my original Origami Smash Bros series. I folded the Samus design I think around the time Smash Ultimate was coming out, and yeah, in the very first design, very basic, like, honestly, yeah, very basic humanoid pattern. Wasn't like very like asymmetrical or anything. It was just like, well, it could just be like a regular human base, and then everything falls into place. And well, it doesn't really seem to fall into place, because the original Samus design definitely had short arms, which was like kind of like the annoying part with, which was kind of like the most annoying part with like my very first or original human designs, where like I would end up making short arms and it would be hard to posture like so. But then yeah, so then there was a second version where I made the arms longer. I also made the arm cannon flap a lot longer, and basically that was kind of it for kind of a little bit. Then like I also had the third version around like I think 2020 or 21. It might have been 21 actually, but that version was cool. I think I spent a lot of time on it, or at least when I was like folding it itself. But then yeah, then this version came along. The reason I decided to redo a whole new version was just because I wanted like a base I could like that's like a lot more foldable and easier to remember in a sense, because I think the previous Samus design was like a little bit forgettable for what I want to try to fold, because I do have models out there where like my ring raid elephants, not the Shugikatsu one, but the one I made, and I don't know, just many other designs where it's like when they're easier to remember, they seem to come out better, which isn't always the case, but like in my case though, it's like yeah, like to me, as if the base is like foldable every time, or the cases where I need to fold it, then that's when the model is actually going to be good. But yeah, and so yeah, so overall, like with this Samus design, like I actually had a original reference point that was like a little bit different. Like reference point as in like the very first fold to like get that one middle line for like basically the middle part of Samus. But I kind of forgot the reference point and so I went with the simpler one, as you would have seen back in part 1, hopefully. And with that one, it was like a lot easier to design, and like the model was still able to come out like Samus, which is great. And so yeah, so that was like a lot more of a foldable taste. And yeah, so to me now this version is like, I think, really good with Samus here. Again, the trickiest part, and by the way, you do want to pull out these middle flaps here. The trickiest part, once again, is probably the arms around the shoulders. Like, those parts can be a little bit tricky, and I kind of had that kind of experience with this model when trying to fold this on camera here, where, again, it feels like I don't have like too much consistency with it, but you'll kind of see in a moment. But it'll honestly work out pretty good. But anyways, so yeah, so technically this is where the base would have ended, but since this was so short, I decided to go a little bit further and be able to start detailing the model from well, oh yeah, I need to get the head, but yeah, but basically I just kind of went as long as I want, where like it'll be a good long process video. So yeah, so that's kind of like the whole idea with Samus there. And I could probably fold Dark Samus from the same base, so I mean, I don't know if I want to do Dark Samus. Like, I think that would be, I mean, I guess I would have to, but like that's something I want to do next time though. I mean, thankfully I have this video in case if I do forget. And yeah, and obviously these are turning out a lot better now. I'm so glad about that, but I don't want to brag about it too much about good video quality, as they get a little bit better-ish. Alright. Yeah, so this is just like creating more parts of the head here. Really, the whole collapsing part didn't really use like too much advanced techniques. Like, there wasn't really anything where it was like super complex with like the, well, I guess yeah, super complex in a way, but especially for like compared to like every other model I folded, it's like, yeah, like not the most hardest thing to collapse, but like the shaping part, it's always the shaping part that's like difficult to do. I really feel like, I mean, I feel like the reason detailing is as tricky is because it is all about like the idea of like the perspective you have with the design, so on and so forth. Yeah, so now basically the base is done, so we're gonna get into like some of the details already. And yeah, you'll kind of see what I was kind of going with here. Doing the shoulder parts, especially like after this, was like it was very weird, but also kind of like ends up really falling hard into a really complex territory, which I would suggest that all of my designs are simple, maybe except for my original Simple Mario design 5 months back, but I don't really worry about that one now. But basically what I want to try and do, because in the original Samus design of this, like the pauldrons were like, wait, do I call them the pauldrons? Those shoulder pads Samus has? I don't know. But yeah, so like they do the complex opening and spread them out, and that's like the intended technique. Originally that's all you did, and then you like fold the arms down and boom, you got that. But the problem with that was that the arms were like had less mobility to like be posturized well, which really is kind of like a little bit of a problem in my issue, because I'm really all about like posturing the designs. Like giving your model a good posture is like like a lot of like power to a design that like makes it really cool, makes it more iconic to see, like giving like Samus that one kneeling down pose is like something where you'll say, oh yeah, that's Samus right there. But getting that is tricky, especially with these pauldrons where they kind of get in the way. And so I had to kind of like use some techniques where I actually unwrap them. Absolutely, yeah. So after open syncing, well, open complex syncing here, that was where I needed to like unwrap them behind. And for those who are trying to fold this, will might have a better preference on like how to like get by with this. This is kind of like the way I did it. And I guess the reason I say it like that is, I mean, I guess like again, like my take is like a little bit more of like this, oh, this is not gonna work like super hot, so I'm gonna have to try doing something a little bit different here. So yeah, so here's folding down the arm, and this one part will need to be squash synced. And yeah, so once again, this is kind of like, again, probably going to be the most time consuming part is like getting that. Now, you do want to have a narrowed arm, so that's why I went with here, just doing that open sync right there. So there we go. But yeah, but I think overall this design was actually like pretty fun to fold. Like, it wasn't anything that was like, I mean, I don't know how to say it. I guess I do want to say boring or like repetitive with folding. Like, that's why I'm not a big fan of blitzing. Blitzing is where you like, basically it's like you put 4 bird-based crease patterns or frog-based crease patterns all in one sheet of paper, or 6 of them, or 8, and so on and so forth. And that kind of folding style like might come with some exceptional uses, but I don't do it often just because it's like, I don't know, to me it's just like this kind of like a boring way to fold designs, in my opinion. I like being able to come up with like bases that sets the models apart, and by that I think it's like nice. So yeah, so like right here, this is like me unwrapping the arm, and yeah, so this part does get like pretty tricky, and I'm sure by the looks of it, yes, it was pretty tricky-ish. I mean, it actually didn't take like too long before I got like that side of the arm down, but even so, like in this part, like it's not going to be completed yet. Hopefully by the next part it will be. I might need to do part 4 depending on how long this takes to to be able to fold the design. But yeah, so a little bit some off-camera folding-ish. I mean, that's kind of the annoying part where it's like I really have to look at the design just to like see what's going on. Which, yeah, like I've been trying to break that habit, but like it's just sometimes like difficult because it is kind of like I need to like see this so good. But yeah, like this part gets like really clunky. Like the layers do kind of like don't format like the way they should, kind of. But yeah, like that one part there, that one back tiny flap behind the head is used to be able to extend the arm, basically. It's actually right to here. And when I started to collapse this more and more, the solution was kind of like, oh, I could like pleat the arm like this, because I do want to get that iconic pose once again. So I'm kind of like trying to like set that part up ahead of time, which normally, again, I don't really, well, not again, but, well, which normally I don't do. But for this case, I'm just gonna go with that because, like, again, it's just, yeah, like sometimes it is kind of hard just to do this, be able to posture the design. And so it was very important just to get this part here. Well, yeah, at least it was important just to kind of like shape the model like this. But yeah, so you'll see that, yeah, like you get that pauldron design there. And originally I was gonna like have that, well, I was gonna have that arm inside reverse folded, but instead I just made it like into a fold here because I realized I can actually pleat the design like, yeah, like pleat the arm, like kind of what I'm doing here. Yeah. So yeah, so we'll get the arm pleated up like this, and I wanted to be sure that I didn't like pleat it up too far where it's gonna shrink the arm more. And thankfully, like the arm cannon is like pretty long flap, so I could do some ways just to make posturing easier with it compared to this arm. So yeah. Yeah, so then right here, I'm just doing the open sinks here to create pleats to get the fingers on Samus here. We'll get that folded in. Oh yeah, I didn't even, yeah, be sure, if you're doing it like this, yeah, be sure you do that first and then pleats the arm in like this. And then I also use that middle flap back there. Normally that flap, like, didn't really have any important uses. It was just kind of like useless sitting back there. But that time I used it like as like a way to make like the pauldron flap like I don't know. It was just, I used that middle flap just for like better shaping around the pauldrons and the hand from the body. So that was helpful there. And yeah, this is just kind of like more fixer-upper on the shaping part. So even if you can't see it, like there's sometimes like there's not too much going on. And then with just some simple inside reverse folds on the fingers, like pretty standard stuff for adding fingers to a design without being able to fold. And yeah, so, and that's basically going to be the only part. Well, I think the final part for this this part of the video, at least for now. But what I will see is like a lot more. You'll probably see a lot more playing around with the arm cannon flap in the next part. But in the meantime, like again, I didn't really want to overshoot or undershoot this video to be too long or too short. Probably just around like the good 18-minute mark, but. Anyways, I hope you at least enjoyed this video at least. I hope you're hoping for some more Smash characters to come into origami form. I'm really excited to. And yeah, all that good stuff and being said, subscribe and like if you want to, and see ya. Bye bye.